The journey to the USA team took a long time. I actually tried out for the team first when I was 17, but I got cut 9 years in a row.
So you got cut 9 years in a row. Can we just talk about how you had the grit to keep going?
Kind of with everything, when I have a goal in mind, I'm all in. I knew I had what it took. It just had to be the right group of people, the right coach. And when I finally did make it, I think was the right time to make the team.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Screw It, Let's Do This podcast. I'm your host, Shelby.
And I'm your other host, Therese. And today we have one of my good friends from college. He's a Paralympic athlete, gold medalist, world champion. It's a whole thing. You guys are going to have to tune in to hear it all. He's also an academic advisor, an avid hunter, fisher, and so many other things. So everyone, let's give it up for John Boie.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yes,
Thanks
John.
for coming on and for the merch.
Oh, yeah. If people, yeah. Do we get to keep these?
That is one I won the gold medal in. So
This one?
that one right there.
Right, yeah.
Oh!
He hasn't washed it since he won it.
I knew I felt kind of sparkly in this
Really?
one.
Okay,
Yeah.
but this one is special too.
That is the practice jersey. It's all the hard work's in that one.
It adds up.
Hey, listen, practice makes perfect, okay? So,
But this is just perfect because it's the gold.
yeah.
Speaking of gold medal.
We'll pull that out later. So basically, you guys, if you're not watching, you might want to just like pause your Spotify and like turn on the
Go
YouTube
to
video
YouTube.
because we're wearing some really cool jerseys right now. We have a gold-plated medal valued at, what we said, $1 million, right? Give or take.
Yeah.
Give or take, which is pretty crazy. But John, so before we get into your really exciting basketball career, I know you're just in Dubai, which we're actually going to have we're gonna have a really
nice.
long conversation at lunch about. I brought my journal and my Dubai planning guide.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's nothing official, but we're going to get some things done during lunch. But before we get into your basketball career, I want to start at your childhood. I know actually too much about you, so I'm just going to give the floor to you so then you can tell us like where you grew up and kind of like the beginning parts of your life.
Yeah, so I'm a farm kid. I grew up in Milton, Wisconsin, so not far from our alma mater there at Whitewater. So I grew up on a dairy farm. Actually, how I got injured was at the farm. When I was 2 years old, I got run over by a tractor. I have no memory of that, so kind of a blessing in that way. So I've kind of been disabled my whole life. But that's kind of a good place to grow up because Whitewater is not far from Milton, and they have a really storied basketball program. I actually went to a basketball camp there when I was 11 and never looked back.
So is that kind of what started your love for basketball? Was that camp, do you think? Or were you always like watching games on TV, doing that kind of thing?
Well, originally I was going to be a Green Bay Packer when I grew up.
Ah.
And then I realized, now I'm getting older. Everybody's a lot faster on grass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was my first time actually playing with people that were, equally, even field, also disabled. So it was kind of opening my eyes a little bit.
Yeah, Whitewater, I remember I also obviously went to Whitewater, and I remember my first week there, they talked about how there was a lot of like wheelchair basketball was like the thing. So Whitewater is a D3 school, so like of course there's other sports, but like the one that people made a point to talk about was wheelchair basketball. And I was on a wheelchair basketball rec team for 2 seasons. I made 1 basket throughout the 2 seasons.
You did?
Yeah, I did. And John,
I like how she's surprised.
I am surprised.
I remember when I made that hoop and everyone cheered. Were you at that game? Did you ever watch one of our games?
Yeah, I came
Were
to
you
one.
like the
Okay.
coach or something? Or how?
No.
Can I just know how you got into this? Because
Okay, yes, you can know how we got into it, but John was not the coach. So
she
wheelchair.
needed you.
Yeah, we did. It was like out of pity. I think he came to help us and our team.
I was like, if you guys are going to know me, you got to step it up a little bit.
Yeah.
you know?
You can't drop my name if
Come
you're
on now.
playing like that.
Yeah, well, it was like one of those things where there was like a whole rec league. So whether you were in a wheelchair or not, you could be. I mean, I don't know if there are any other sports, but wheelchair basketball was the biggest. So I had a team my junior year, or I was on a team my junior and senior year, and then I met John, I think my junior year or sophomore year.
Junior, senior, actually.
Yeah, I honestly don't remember. But then when I brought it up and I begged you to come help, you just helped. So John and I worked together at the academic advising office at Whitewater. He was technically my manager. I always considered him more of a friend that watched over us.
Yeah.
A little bit. But anyway, so yeah, it was a really big program. And John, you played for Whitewater, but you played, by the time I met you, you had already graduated. You were a graduate student or beyond.
Beyond, yeah.
And so after Whitewater, playing in college, or you must have played in high school too, right through the Whitewater program?
Yep. I played a team actually out of Madison here.
Oh, okay. And then after you got to Whitewater, you played for college. And then after that, what happened next? I think we know, but.
The journey to the USA team took a long time. I actually tried out for the team first when I was 17, but I got cut 9 years in a row before I actually made
Wow.
the team. So I made it when I was 26 and have been on it every year since then. Co-captain last year, which was pretty cool because even when you make it, you're back at the bottom of the list of the roster. You got to work your way up to, starting games and playing games. But 2019, the guy that was in my position kind of went down. And so I got the opportunity to get in there and play. And so I played every game, the entire game throughout Peru in 2019, which is the Parapan Games. That qualifies you for the Olympics. So that's for able-bodied and for disabled athletes. And then right after Peru, I kind of had a bit of an injury and had to have shoulder surgery. So I tore my bicep tendon, kind of ripped off. And
How does that happen?
Jeez.
How do you rip a bicep? Ugh.
Oh,
you ever YouTube videos of it? It like,
No, I
my-
can't.
it's awful.
Oh, man.
Oh, so how did you do it though?
Just normal.
Overuse or probably?
I kind of use these for everything. So
Yeah, your biceps are kind of meaty.
They're
honestly.
popping.
Yeah, they're present here. Biceps here.
should have wore a long sleeve.
No way.
Yeah. So, I mean, I had a couple other things going on. So, I actually had to go get surgery for it. And then, COVID happened. And that was kind of good because my shoulder was not healing all that quickly. So for a long time, I, was getting it worked on, ended up having to go to the Olympic Training Center, to have them work on me because they have people that work on you multiple times a day. And everything was remote anyways. So rather than be on my couch, I stayed at the Olympic Training Center, had the best care in the world, and they worked on me and eventually got me to where I could compete again. Because my coaches were pretty nervous about my status. And interesting little side piece about wheelchair basketball is there's different classifications depending on your disability, which I think I've explained it to you back in the day, back in the college days.
Oh.
So if you are, say, an amputee, you're just missing one of your legs, you have the most function. So your classification is the highest. You're a 4.5. On the other end of the scale, myself, I'm a 1.0. So I don't have any use of my hips. I don't have any core muscles. So there's also a gray area in between where you can be a 1.5, 2.0, 2.5, all the way up to 4.5.
Wait, 1.0 is the start of it.
Is the start. Yep. That's
Okay.
the least function.
And you're 1.5.
And I'm a 1.0.
Oh.
So when you put your 5 players on the court, your classification points can't add up to more than 14.
Interesting.
So you can't have 5 giant amputees out there. But that's where my value comes to the team is I'm a low classification player, but I'm capable of doing things that higher class players are.
Yeah. I'm surprised to hear that you would be a one, like, because you're super good. Really good. I mean, you're like a wizard. A wizard on the court. Anyway, so that makes sense. So you're low class number and you're great. Continue.
Yeah. So if I can, guard really big dudes, it gives a numerical advantage to my 4 other teammates going against their 4 guys. Good luck, other teams.
Yeah.
So that's where I kind of became really valuable, that I could score and I could guard big guys as a low class player. Typically, they're not able to do that. So
You're the
leading up
secret
to-
weapon. Wait, you're the secret weapon, aren't you?
you could say that.
little bit.
Honestly, though, like that's kind of the vibes I'm getting right now.
Yeah, I'm never going to show up as, big guy on the stat sheet, but people that know the sport kind of see it. So leading up to Tokyo, I had all this angst about my shoulder and am I going to be able to play? Am I going to be able to try out? They limited me a lot, and there'd be times where like they'd throw a ball and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm just going to let that fly over my head. I'm a little scared.
Oh no.
Put my arm up there. But also had sports psychologists kind of work through different things with me, and, ended up getting to a point where I could play. And I was also living at the training center, awesome diet, awesome training, got me to where I was probably the best shape I've ever been.
Wow.
And in Tokyo, I never left the floor.
Wow.
That's
all
sweet.
8 games.
Oh my gosh. Wait, when you say a sports psychologist, can you explain? I was surprised when you just said that. I was thinking, like a physical therapist, but you said a psychologist.
Mm-hmm.
So what were some of the things they helped you overcome?
I guess, working with myself, like confidence wise, also being in a new role. And a lot of the guys, they had won gold in Rio in 2016, and a lot of them came back. And so being kind of the new guy to the scene and being in the role I was and everything, I needed a lot of tools just to kind of calm myself down.
I can't even imagine, because like I would be nervous in high school games. Playing for the US, like the country. Like I can't even imagine
on your back.
the nerves and like the weight you probably felt. Because I feel it thinking about it. You doing it.
Yeah. See, let me just say right here, like I didn't play sports. I was never good at sports, so I never felt that pressure, but I did compete in business competitions, and that was pressuresome. But sports, yeah, you basketball people, sports are, even with sand volleyball, if it's like the last point,
we had an intense game last
Call
night.
me out. I'd rather be out on the sidelines than be like
I'd rather be in.
Oh, see, I'm trying to get into that mentality of like, I'm okay being the last one to touch the ball, even if we lose. But sometimes I'm like, I'm a shining star athletic wise.
I would love to be in the last play.
Definitely.
Yeah. I love that feeling.
Put me in.
Wow,
Yeah.
you guys.
I don't care if I start, at least let me end the game.
I know.
Wow, you guys.
That's how I feel too.
That's so funny.
The added pressure being a class 1 out there is if you watch games, like the other teams will cross the court and their big, tall, fastest, biggest, baddest dude is usually hunting me to try to go at me because he sees me as the littlest guy, the least function. So it's the added pressure of I'm not just out there the whole game, but I'm also like
The
being
target.
hunted.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
What position did you play?
Like a guard. Yeah. So like on my club team, I'm non-traditional in the way that I'm a class 1 that like handles the ball and I shoot threes and I kind of, run the offense, versus on the USA team, I play more of my role, but in like a hybrid way because of what I'm capable of doing.
I don't know how playing on like a USA team works. Obviously.
You have a jersey though.
He travels, I'll tell you that.
I don't know. So how do you, you make the team. Where did you try out? What do practices look like? Because I'm assuming people are from everywhere.
Yeah, all across the country. But the Olympic Training Center is out in Colorado Springs. I'm actually headed there for a tryout in a couple weeks. But amazing center, awesome venues. The equipment there is ridiculous, but that's where a lot of athletes train. I actually lived there before I went to Tokyo for 6 months. That's where our tryouts always are and training camps. But you also have to do all your own workouts, back home and report that stuff and make sure you get in the work that you need to. So when you go to camp, you're ready to, gel with your guys.
Yeah. So you travel just like kind of back and forth until it's time to like live there, like you said, for 6 months or whatever. Is that how
all
it
the
works?
TSA agents know me at Milwaukee Airport.
How often do you have to go back and forth?
So every summer is usually when USA stuff goes on. But with a Paralympic year coming up, we'll be out there basically every other month.
Wow.
Dang.
It's a lot.
Do you wear your medal through the airport?
Yeah, the metal detector goes off every time.
Well, the wheelchair sets it off usually.
Oh.
But no, I don't wear it anymore, but I definitely wore it after I won for like 3 straight days and gave me a little rope burn on the neck.
Say, they also put a kink in your neck. What's the poundage on that? There's some.
It's heavy.
She's a couple pounds.
A couple pounds.
Yeah.
That's like a gallon of milk, at least. Which
gallon
I know.
Of milk and water. Yeah.
Yeah, milk and water, which is the only beverages John drinks. He doesn't drink coffee, so
No coffee.
Which is crazy because like sometimes we'll ask the question on here, what gets you out of bed every morning? And half the people are their first thought is coffee.
Oh, nope.
What gets you out of bed?
It's a new day.
Basketball.
Yeah, no.
Do
you have a basketball next to your bed?
Actually, I kind of do.
Oh, man.
Okay, so you're practicing getting ready at the training center. COVID is during that time.
Yeah.
When did you get over to Tokyo and what did that look like?
Yeah, so we got over there about a week and a half before the game started because even though it says 2020, it was in 2021. And the weird thing is there's no fans allowed, right? So Tokyo, they sold more Paralympic tickets than they did to the Olympics. And because they did a really good job of promoting everything. The whole Paralympic movement was cool. Like if you see commercials now, you see, Paralympic athletes and Olympic athletes on stuff. But there's no fans allowed. Even like media people, there's like a certain number they let in and they're like, oh, sorry, shut the door. So we're in like these huge stadiums, practice arenas, and it's like almost empty except for 2 teams, the coaches, a medic, and a commentator.
Do you like it like that? Or do you like fans?
No, I like fans.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that
For
energy
sure.
would be more fun. But in my case, as someone who isn't very athletic, I don't want people to see me. I don't need people to see me. But I can imagine if you're good, you want people to be cheering you on. So what were your expectations going into Tokyo?
I mean, we were definitely confident because a lot of the guys that had won in Rio were back to try to do duplicates, and win in Tokyo. Even with the extra year of training instead of a quad, it was 5 years. But we knew we had a really good chance to win it. And I mean, there was only a few teams that we were like, okay, when we do this is going to be extra serious. Not that we'd take any teams for granted, but Great Britain, Spain, Australia, teams like that, they're always tough.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So you're going for, the team, year 3 in a row of gold or
Yeah.
Olympic, third Olympics in a row.
Repeat. Yeah. And we have some of our guys came back that they thought they were done. They took a year off and they're like,
I got to get the third
let's
one.
just try it one more time. So this is definitely going to be the last go around for a few guys.
Not for you though.
Oh, we'll see how my shoulders hold up.
Yeah.
LA's 2028. That'd be kind of cool.
Oh, LA. Wait, what is LA?
Los Angeles.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
Wow. That is pretty cool. So you're going to be in Paris in 2024, the same time as the rest of everything goes on at once?
The Olympics go, and then the Paralympics are right after. So like as they're flying out, we're flying in.
Okay.
So we stay in the same village.
Cool.
For those who don't know, there's a whole Olympic village.
Yeah.
I was going to ask how that was
nuts.
at Tokyo. Like, was it really cool to stay in the village and like meet other people? What was like your favorite part?
Yeah, it's awesome. Like, because you're in the village and there's every country, and a lot of countries you're like, I didn't even know that was a country. Like, what is that?
Do you communicate?
What is that flag? A lot of people see like when you're wearing USA gear and they're like, oh man, that's like USA basketball players. It's like a
high standard.
Like a high, yeah, it's kind of weird. I'm like, yeah, I guess I am wearing that shirt.
Yeah, I am wearing that shirt.
I think I would like be crying like when they play like the national anthem and stuff. It's just very like,
yeah,
very cool. Yeah.
It's got, I mean, I guess like a little bit of a comparison. Like people go serve, in the military and come back. Like when you go like play at this level and they play your anthem, like you can't describe it when you come back, and like it hits differently, very different.
Dang.
It's like emotional.
Wow.
I got the chills. What was the most difficult game in the playoffs that you played in Tokyo?
Our pool was actually really tough. And we had Great Britain in our pool, which has historically always been a rival, if you will. And we actually lost that game in pool play. It came down to the final shot or the final possession. I got the ball. I got blocked out of bounds. So we had an inbound play, and I threw it cross court to my teammate who drained the shot, but the refs blew it off because a guy had fallen down.
Oh.
So we ran another play, but they knew our play at that point, and they stopped us. So they beat us in pool play, which of course gave them a lot of confidence and whatnot. But our team is very resilient and played together, so we knew we were fine. If you're going to lose, that's the time to lose. So that was tough. I mean, we beat Germany on 2 free throws at the end of the game in our very first game. Every game is really difficult. Once it gets to crossovers where it's like, all right, you lose or go home, that's where it's intense. So we played Turkey in our crossover, and Turkey has some of the biggest human beings in the world. Like they had a dude on their team that could almost touch the net in his chair.
What?
Which is stupid.
Oh my gosh.
That is stupid. Goodbye.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. So,
oh my gosh.
I mean, they're like a traditional European team where like soccer, like they play with tons of energy. Like they can be down 20, they'll hit a big shot and just,
Yeah.
So that was a big one. Every game was difficult.
Wait, is it like, so what is like when they don't speak your language, right? Like they're not speaking English. So can you just like scream out each other's plays like, hey, block this guy, or like do an alley-oop, or I don't know. Like,
do an alley-oop.
I don't know, you guys. I didn't play basketball, okay?
Do you know what that is?
It's like you go backwards, right?
Not at all.
Okay.
Not quite.
It's where you throw it up and the other person dunks it. Hasn't happened in wheelchair ball yet, but
maybe next year.
Maybe next year. Maybe in Paris.
Oh, man. Okay.
When you just said that.
Sorry, you guys. I don't know basketball. I was thinking like off the thing, it hits the board and goes in.
Off the thing, huh?
Off the board and goes in.
Like using the backboard?
Yeah, backboard shots.
A bank shot?
Off the backboard. They say off the backboard.
It's pretty common.
Maybe cut that whole part out.
No, leave that in. That's a good blooper right there.
Oh my gosh. But no, really, like, so they don't speak English when you're, right? Like, they're not speaking English. So can you guys just like yell out plays or be like, oh, we hate that guy, he sucks, like on the spot?
I mean, a lot of guys play, like even Americans go play in Europe because they have a professional league. Like people are paid. So a lot of them speak English to some extent.
Oh, snaps.
But they'll start yelling stuff in Turkish or whatever language they're doing. And you're like, no idea what they just said.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. They could be like, take that John kid down.
Yeah.
Pummel him. Oh my gosh.
You can tell she didn't ever play anything.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen.
Tackle him.
Tackle him.
Grab his flag.
Give me that jersey back.
No, this is mine now. This is my. I sewed it to my undergarments.
Wow. Okay.
So, anyways, can you tell us about the final game? What was that like? Who is that against?
Yeah. So we ended up playing Spain in our semifinal, and Great Britain was on the other side playing Japan, and Japan had game of their lives and beat Great Britain. So we've actually faced the host country, and it's the first time Japan's ever been in a gold medal game for wheelchair basketball. And honestly, they were like the best people to play because traditionally Japanese people are very respectful. And it was, just a game of like, wow, chess match. Like they're very smart. They make adjustments. It wasn't like head games or trash talk or getting super physical on people. So it was kind of a delightful matchup, honestly. But they played really well.
They had home court advantage, and they
did, but no fans.
No fans.
Oh my gosh, you're totally right.
So I mean, the live streams were popping off, but I don't know. I scored 4 points in the first quarter, and we won by 3. So,
so you basically won the game.
That's what my mom says, but
oh my gosh. Wow, that is so intense.
Did you have family that went with you or not because of COVID? So
they all were planning to, but they're all excited for Paris. But
I'm excited for Paris. I'm gonna be wearing this.
Oh.
You're gonna ship it to me?
I don't know how my girlfriend would feel about that. But
we'll have a conversation.
She can wear the actual one. Like you can give her.
I got to wear it. I'm in the game.
Can't you just be like, I lost
it's all
one?
Up for debate.
I have a couple extra.
So we're gonna have a watch party with flags.
I always joke around with John and I say, I'm just gonna show up at the country.
Can you imagine?
Can I get in
Therese
if I show
walks
up?
into the Olympic Village.
Can I get in?
To the games?
Yeah. Oh, see that? You hear that?
What about to the village?
No. Not a
You don't
chance.
think she could like fit in as like an athlete?
You have like crazy credentials and security.
So not even your family?
I'd be like Tom Cruise, Mission Impossible, get in there.
Wait, so even your family, they can't?
Not into the village.
Wow.
So.
I need to look up whatever this village is. Okay, I want to say something that's not going to be on the film. I don't watch the Olympics at all, so I don't even know what the village is.
Oh,
I'm
God.
so sorry, but like,
oh my God,
I think that it sounds awesome.
Oh my God.
But I think I've seen stuff on TikTok. I think I've seen like a couple TikToks where they're like, a day in the life of the village.
You don't watch the Olympics?
I kind of stopped watching TV altogether. And all.
My family like puts the time out, like at 7 tonight, we're watching this at blah, blah,
No,
blah. And it's like we all get together and watch it.
I probably watch a couple things. Like, of course, you know, like Simone, whatever. I'm sorry, Biles. Michael Phelps. Like, I remember those moments, but probably just because I saw clips on Facebook.
We're going to have to cut the podcast.
No,
this is bad.
End it right now.
Just know, John, I'm on your side. I'm on the Olympic side.
It's okay. Every hero needs a villain. So anyways, so you guys win the final game by 3 points. You got the 4. You were the winning puzzle piece. Tell us about the medal ceremony. Like, how did that feel?
That was, it was all a lot of emotions, surreal. One of my teammates is a guy that I actually played like from when we were in high school together all the way up into college and then till now. So there's one of my favorite pictures on my Instagram is there's a picture of me like going up to him, and then there's a picture of me like hugging him and I'm kind of wrapped up on top of him. It's pretty cool. So there's lots of different emotions with each player, each teammate, coaches, and then you're kind of rushed away. You got to change into your, ceremony gear, come back out. And then because of COVID, it was also different. They couldn't put the medal on you. But in a way, I think it was better because we would do the teammate next to you.
That is really...
One of our captains gave me my first gold medal and I got to give him his second one. So
wait, can we like pick up the medal? This is like a right moment to pick it up.
If you've been stretching, you should be okay.
I'll try to get it. I'm picking it up.
Two hands.
But seriously, it is really heavy. See, like I'll put this on, but it like weighs you down almost. I'm further slouched than I was before. No, but this is crazy here. Now I'm gonna pretend I'm...
Did you take this through TSA? Like you didn't put this in your luggage.
Oh, I slept with it on.
Let me put it on you.
I wore it for like 3 straight days.
I would too. Oh my gosh, you're gonna have neck problems.
Yeah, that is actually nuts. It looks like you've definitely worn it for 3 straight days.
Yeah.
What happens if you lose it?
They'll send you a new one.
Do they?
No way.
You got to prove that you're like, oh, I lost it. Yeah.
We could have Shelby run away with it, and there'll be a picture of her running away. It was stolen by a thief.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, that is so crazy. So, what was it like coming home after all that?
Oh well, a lot of people in the airport like actually recognized me, like even though I wasn't wearing all my getup and stuff, which is cool because they watched me on TV. Cool thing with the Paralympics is there's a whole movement going. Like Toyota's pretty big in that. They're one of our sponsors of televising the Paralympics. So like people that weren't just my family actually watched me in the game. And they're like, "Are you 33?
Are you that guy?
Are you John Boie? If that's really your name?"
Which it is.
And I'm like, yeah. What? Like, so it's pretty cool.
My gosh.
Very excited for, coming up for the next Paralympic Games, see if people do the same thing. But since then, we came home. Everything was a year off. Generally, World Championships are 2 years subset with the Olympics. So we had World Championships this last, just a little bit ago in June. So we were in Dubai for that, as we mentioned. So we actually just won a gold medal at World Championships as well.
How many do you have?
A couple.
That's so cool.
Tell me when. I'm at 10.
Oh, start over.
That's crazy. Yeah, Dubai. Yeah, can you talk to us a little bit? I know we don't have to go like too deep into that.
Dubai, we actually got to get our revenge on Great Britain.
Really?
Once again, they were in our pool and we lost to them in pool play. And we ended up beating them in the championship by 1 point. I scored 2 points in that game.
John, seriously.
You just keep pushing your team over the edge.
I don't know what happened.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. So Paris 2024, obviously happening next year. what is happening with that? You have to try out. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, so I actually got a tryout here in about 3 weeks out in lovely Colorado, out in the mountains. So we'll be trying out for that team. Probably going to keep a lot of the same guys together, but, got to keep them honest, got to have a tryout. So might be some new faces. We do have the Parapan Games in November in Chile, which qualifies us for Paris. So we have to win that.
Okay.
If not, we have to go to a different tournament to get into the games. And then next year, August, would be Paris 2024 Paralympics.
Your life is so exciting.
I mean, I would argue yours is pretty exciting.
Yeah, but
in a different way.
Yeah, in a completely different way, like in a local way, like in a Madison, Wisconsin way. Like I try to get out of the country once a year, but I just started doing that for 2 years in a row now. So I've gotten out.
A resolution, maybe?
No, that's on my like annual, not really resolutions, but my goals and visions for like the year is to get out once a year. So you got cut 9 years in a row. Can we just talk about how you had the grit to keep going? Like, well, tell me about that. Tell us about that.
Kind of with everything, when I have a goal in mind, I'm all in. I'm a gas pedal kind of person. And I knew I had what it took. It just had to be the right group of people, the right coach. And when I finally did make it, I think was the right time to make the team. Just kind of looking back on the past and who was there. And I think I made the team at the right time I was supposed to.
My gosh, how do you get, like, does that grit come from your parents, or like where do you have that motivation and that goal? Because like, I mean, we talked a little bit on the phone yesterday. I really look up to you because you just have another obstacle you have to face, and you are even more goal oriented and an achiever and motivated than so many other people. Like, where did that come from?
I think growing up on the farm, I would credit my parents a little bit. I mean, I still had to do all the same chores. So I'm out, figuring out how to pick rocks in a field, pushing through a field, or splitting wood, or whatever it is. They were like, hey, we have the same expectations, figure it out. So it's kind of problem solving, and doing that has been what I've grown up with. Mm-hmm. So if I can't make the team, I'm going to figure out how to make the stupid team.
Yeah. Yeah. So your parents, like, they didn't cut you any breaks. They're like, John, you're in it.
Yeah.
I feel like you like don't stray away from anything. Nothing scares you is what it feels like. So can you talk about like your New Year's resolutions? Because I know you're a big resolution person, and I want to hit on this because there's one that you told me a couple years ago that like sticks out in my mind. And I think anyone could listen to it and be like, wow, maybe I should try doing that.
I think I remember what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a year where I would actually write it down. Every day I did something that would make me uncomfortable, or I'd try something new. It can be big or small, but it had to be something like intentional that day. And I did a lot of things that year.
Anything in particular?
What are a couple? Yeah, what are a couple that stand out?
Skydiving.
I did do skydiving.
Did
you? Wait, actually?
Yeah. Oh, no.
John, see, this is what I'm saying. Like, I haven't even had the courage to
I
do
don't
that
even
yet.
think I could be paid like $1 million to do it.
Oh,
I truly don't.
I would do it for free.
Oh my gosh. I don't think I could ever.
I am terrified of heights.
Oh.
So if there's something I stray away from, that'd usually be one.
Would you do it again?
110%.
So it was cool.
Wait.
You liked it?
So how did you, that was one of your things that year.
I went with my coach from college, Opie. And I was like, because I'm very competitive, if you can't tell. And I was like, okay, if I'm up there and he goes out of the plane, I can't not jump out of the plane and be that pansy up there that came down with the plane,
That would be me.
So he's the first to jump.
I'd be coming down.
He's the first one to go out. But like the second I left the plane, I always think of like Will Smith's talk about skydiving. I was like, this is unbelievable. It's the coolest thing ever.
Oh my gosh. The leading up to it though, anytime I think too deeply about it, does it get you nervous thinking about it now?
Well, yeah, because halfway up, there was some guy that was like there to practice like his parachute skills. So they opened the door like 5,000 feet up, and dude just jumped out. I was like,
nope.
Like a
never
bug
been on a
hitting
plane with a freaking door open.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't how it's supposed to go.
No, my old coworker was like, at my last corporate job, he was like part of a skydiving team and like did it professionally. And so he would skydive like as much as you can, like literally like weekly on a weekly basis. And he was like, anyone at the office like wants to go, I can just get you in for free. Like
and anyone. You didn't take that opportunity?
No.
Oh my God.
You could not. I don't even think there's a dollar amount you could put in front of me that I'd be like, yeah.
Hey, but what if I want to do that for my future like bachelorette party in the future? In the future.
Nice. I won't be there.
Oh, you're going to be the one planning it, I thought.
I'll plan it, but I won't be there.
We'll take this conversation offline.
Yeah, no, never. Okay, do you have a couple, like anything else that stands out?
Some different foods I ate. Like I tried bone marrow one time.
Okay, did you suck it right out of the bone?
It was like cooked and whatever from a restaurant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I remember I asked a girl out somewhere.
I loved those.
Which was pretty nerve-wracking.
Did you eat a spider?
Negative.
Okay.
Negative on eating spiders.
Because
did you eat a spider?
No, well, I was going to tell you, but no, I didn't. I would never. But her boyfriend, we paid $50 a couple years ago. He wasn't her boyfriend at the time.
It was massive. It was like a quarter-size spider because Therese's deck like breeds these spiders.
Yeah, that's Spidertopia. Spidetopia.
And someone was like, want to eat one? And he's like,
for $50.
For $50. And we were like, okay. There was like 10 of us. So everyone just chipped in like a couple dollars.
It was
probably trying to impress you.
Maybe.
Actually,
Ben?
I don't know about
Guys do dumb things.
I don't know about that era. I'm not sure. We could talk offline about that though. but yeah, that was
we have the video.
Yeah, and I actually pull it up every so often. But put that on your list for your next resolution.
Eating a quarter-sized spider. Yeah.
Yeah. But you only did that 1 year. See, when I met you, you were doing that. So I was like, oh, wow, this guy does something every day for his whole life. Yeah. That scares him. But that was a 1 year resolution.
1 year to do something every day.
And do you do other resolutions every year? Are you like a resolution person?
Yeah, they all vary. Or different like challenges.
Let's hear them.
I did the 75-day hard challenge last year.
Okay, can we get into that?
That was, some parts were easy, some parts were hard.
We've had now like 3 people on that have done it.
I'm starting to sense like a reoccurring trend where people that get after their goals and are really successful do the 75 hard eventually. I thought about doing it, but just I don't have the bandwidth right now. But Kenan, my boyfriend, I feel bad saying this, he attempted it. He got, basically when we painted my storefront, he had stopped because he was painting it for like 15 hours in a row. And so didn't get to do 2 workouts. But can we talk more about your experience with that? Or like what drew you to that?
One of my teammates from my club team, the Wisconsin Thunder.
Yes. We'll need to talk about that too.
Yeah. He's really into like, do you know the Liver King? Like this guy that's like carnivore diet.
Yes.
Wait, what's his
crazy
name?
Man.
Does he just eat like beef and salt?
He just eats like
liver, heart,
like organs and.
Yeah.
Is it the same guy that only eats predators?
No.
Okay.
No.
Look him up after.
All right.
Yeah.
Liver man. So
Liver King.
Liver King.
But my buddy Drew, he does a lot of these like intense things, and he was like, "Hey man, I bet you can't do this." And of course, that's the way to get me to do things.
Yeah.
So him and I did it like together and kept each other accountable.
That's the goal.
That's how we're gonna do it.
We'll talk. I just think that even when I did things like Whole30, because remember I was doing the Whole30. Do you remember I talked about that back in the day?
Vaguely.
It's like 30 days of paleo eating. That's why I always brought.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyways, I brought
paleo. That's why you always had your own food.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So that, even doing that, having someone else to like keep you accountable when you're having cravings. Oh my gosh, to like complain to like, oh my gosh, there's fries right now. I can't eat them. But anyway, so you did the 75 hard with your friend. Doesn't that include like a cold shower every day too?
Like a 6-minute cold shower.
6 minutes?
6 minute.
That's what we agreed. Yeah.
I think you did the 75 hardest.
Some parts are like, this
intense.
is stupid.
Yeah, why?
I don't like this at all.
And what did you?
I don't understand that one.
Yeah, for the people that are listening that don't know the 75 hard, you just look it up because we've talked about it like multiple times, but it's 75 days of like, just briefly like 2 workouts, 10 pages of reading.
Yeah.
Right?
Hated
I'm
that
not a
part.
reader.
Out of all the things, you're saying reading.
That was the hardest.
Like, you could
that
be
was
warm in
one
your
of my
bed.
harder ones, yeah.
Really? I could find you a book that you would probably enjoy.
My aunt buys me books every year, and
I have a gut
a
feeling.
big old pile of them.
But yeah, I mean, so what did you notice after doing that?
I mean, I felt great. I was in awesome shape. But there were definitely like cravings throughout it. Like, man, it's Friday night. I'm with my friends. I would really like to get a beer right now.
Oh yeah, no drinking too.
Yeah, that's part of it. Or I have a little bit of a sweet tooth for candy. So go to the movie theater and not eat some sour gummy worms kind of killed me a little bit.
It's probably tough to watch a movie at that point.
A little bit.
Distracting.
No, honestly, if I don't have gummies, I'm like, red alert, red alert.
Like, I don't know what to do with my hands.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. What was the diet you chose to do?
We did like no processed, which I eat a lot of wild game as kind of like your boyfriend, right?
Yeah, we'll have to get into that.
So
Okay.
big hunter. So I ate kind of all the things I usually do, but then you had to cut out a few things that I didn't realize, like that has a lot of sugar in it or that.
A lot of label reading.
Yes, which I don't generally do.
Yeah. When you start doing that, you know, it's really, marketing is so good because you'll see a bottle that looks so organic and then it's like
Not.
soybean oil for life. Like it's so much stuff. Man, that is tough. Well, yeah, you're extremely goal oriented.
Yes. So I've been
Yeah.
told.
Yeah. Do you know what your Enneagram like personality type is?
I've done that many times. I can never remember.
Well, I'll
I don't
tell
know
I
you.
think
either.
one of them's the E, extrovert. I don't know if you picked up on that.
I don't
one.
know
Yeah,
these things either.
Okay, well, I think it's interesting. I think you're an achiever, but I mean that's what mine is too. I don't know what yours is. You refuse to take the test. She refuses to know.
I just don't care.
Ignorance
I am what
is
I am.
bliss.
No.
What's the point? Like, I am what I am.
Listen, I'm so big into the Strength Finders test, Myers-Briggs, all that stuff. I just think it's interesting. You're an achiever. So apart from basketball, obviously that's a huge part of your life. But you have a very well-rounded life. You have a ton of different hobbies. Can we talk about some of your other hobbies?
Yeah. I mean, grow up on the farm, big hunter. I think I mentioned that earlier.
Can I just tell the hunting story?
Go for it.
Okay. So we briefly hit on this. I've been telling people this story since the day it happened, but I've gone hunting once in my life and it was with John. So this was before we had a shift at the academic advising office. We went at like 5 a.m. and our friend David picks me up. I think he picks me up. Or was it you?
We all drove together. Yeah.
Okay, yes, you did come from Whitewater. So you picked us up. We went to your house and you had all this like hunting clothing, whatever. And you're like, yeah, I don't know if we'll get a turkey today. You guys have a ton of land. And so you get into this big wheelchair that's like a tractor. So
It's like a tank.
Like a tank.
it's like a tank. Yeah. So John has like a couple different wheelchairs that can do a ton of different things. It's wild. And we go on your land. I'm like half awake. I'm, carrying, I don't know, the world on my back. I don't even remember. I felt like I was carrying a lot, but it was all that hunting like clothing. And then we go sit in this little house and
A tent.
a tent.
This little house.
And I like make a little space on the ground and I begin to start sleeping. Like I'm just about to start sleeping because you're like, yeah, it might be an hour or two before the turkey comes out. I'm literally closing my eyes and you're like, yeah, I think I see one. And all of a sudden, poof, he hits it within we were out for like 8 minutes.
It felt that quick, but it was probably like 30 minutes.
Okay. So
It was a longer walk than it was actual hunting.
yeah, it happened so fast. And John was freaking out. He's like, I've never gotten a turkey this fast. I'm like, I'm the good luck charm. And it was, I think I lost my hearing temporarily.
It was loud.
Yeah, it was so loud. And I was like trying to snooze just because I didn't think anything was going to happen. And then we go on. Oh my gosh. Like I had already said, that was the only time I thought about becoming a vegan. Because then John is so pumped out of his mind. He goes and he picks it up and I guess puts it out of its misery. I'm sorry. If you're a vegetarian, pause this part.
Oh, no, it died instant.
Okay, it died
Yeah, it's
instant.
done.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, in that moment though, we put it back on your tractor tank wheelchair thing, brought it back, and you filleted it on the spot. And I'll never forget when you threw the turkey breast at me on my body. I literally
Like the raw meat hit you.
Yes, you like filleted it on the spot. You're like, and it was like it was ready to be like put in the oven at that point.
Should wash it a little bit,
Yeah, it was
especially after you dropped it.
it bounced off my body and hit the floor.
I'm so happy you did that.
No, and seriously, like I just had this kind of like, and this kind of like, feeling all day. Like I'm just I'm not like an animal person, but I'm a lover of all things. So it was really hard to watch. I know that's like a humane way for a turkey to die. It's better than, getting it probably, obviously at the grocery store. But I definitely considered slowing down meatless Mondays or something at that point. But no, I'm good. I still eat meat daily. But that was a wild experience. And a lot of people in Whitewater hunt So I felt like I was in the know, but I didn't want to be in the know. So that was like a first, it was like a one and done. And like my Facebook memories always pop up with that picture of you, me, and David.
I love that one.
Yeah, every year. But it's like monumental because I know I'm never doing that again.
Mm.
And that was, me trying to do something that scared me, something new every day. But anyway, so John hunts a lot.
Yes.
So you have a huge wheelchair set up that looks like a tank. I looked it up before we got on here. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So how many wheelchair different setups do you have? Like what kind of different ones can you use them for?
I have my hunting one. I have my basketball chair, a couple of them actually. I once had a hand cycle. So kind of like a bike, but you sit on it and there's 2 wheels in the back and one in the front. And it's just literally all hand motions.
I've seen someone in my neighborhood doing that.
Yeah. But there's chairs for tennis, for skiing, for water skiing, for every sport you can think of, or every activity.
I had no clue.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would have had no idea. That's cool.
Yeah.
But they're all very expensive. So it's not like, oh, I'll go try this
Just
sport.
get one.
I'll buy a tennis racket.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'll pay $5,000 for this chair. I hope I love the sport. And every chair is like custom fit to you as well. Because everybody has different needs and different classifications, right? So different balance setups and whatnot.
So what are your other hobbies? Mostly hunting,
Hunting,
Basketball.
fishing,
being in the fields.
digging in the dirt. Yeah.
When milking cows, you said dairy farm.
We don't have cows anymore.
Did
No.
you used to milk cows when you were growing up?
Oh, yeah. I had the same chores. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what
That was very Wisconsin of you.
Oh, yeah. You know, out and about. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So John, obviously I've known you for quite a few years now. You have such a strong social life. You're incredible at keeping in contact with people. And I want to know, are there any misconceptions that you want to clear the air about with people with disabilities, or just how people interact with people with disabilities? Like what can we tell our viewers?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just like any other person. I know folks don't generally get a lot of opportunities to interact with individuals who have a disability, or you might be walking around, you don't even realize somebody has a disability. Whether they're an amputee or if they're have more visual adversity like I do, being in a wheelchair, but just don't act different. Like it's so funny when you're in a place and someone's like, "Hey, like, good for you." Like, I'm like, I'm at the grocery store.
What do you mean? Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
I'm not even buying something healthy. This is gummy worms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like they sprint and go crazy to open a door. I'm like, if you're not going to open a door for someone else, then don't run up here and open it for me. So I guess just acting, as you would with anybody else. If you're opening the door, it's normal. Cool. If you're out and about, to have me as your inspiration, that I'm not just sitting on a couch or whatever you think of disabled people doing.
So in the Midwest, how people open the door way too early and then you like have to wait. Do you know that like misconception or whatever? So you would rather people like let it close instead of do the old like Midwest thing where it's like, oh, you're a block away, but I'll wait for you.
Really, just slam it shut.
I hate when people do that. Then you feel like you have to start sprinting. Oh my gosh. If you're not in the Midwest, you might not know, but like people hold the door open way too early here. Oh.
So what kind of advice do you have for people that maybe are Paralympic athletes or just athletes in general, people like us? I mean, you have a lot of grit, like just any advice. You're a gold medalist.
On resilience.
So
And
give us whatever you've got. Anything.
The segment is called Advice from a Gold Medalist.
Oh boy. That's a good title.
It is.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's a total mindset thing. I kind of grew up, in what some would say is a pretty difficult way. But I mean, years later, kind of unanswered prayers type of thing. It shaped me to who I am today. So, figuring out how to pick rocks and milk a cow and whatever definitely stemmed me on to like, all right, I failed again and again and again, and I got cut again. You just keep going. I mean, there's so many things in life that it's easy to quit, but it's never the good way to do it. I don't know who the famous poet is, but the path less traveled, that's always going to be the one that has the biggest reward on the other side. So I think you just got to keep going. Grit and growth mindset.
Grit and growth. I'm going to say that the next time I got denied. I'm sure I have a couple denial emails that
We just got one from the
Perfect.
Shed Aquarium. Grit and growth.
Oh my gosh. We'll keep trying on that one. That's a podcast in the future. So, John, what are you doing now? How can people get a hold of you, watch you play basketball? Like, what's the 411 on that?
Yeah. So obviously the USA stuff will be on TV. So you can see me on NBC
Ooh!
next year.
Uh-huh.
But I also play on my club team throughout the year, the Wisconsin Thunder. So we play all around, this area, in Chicago.
Wait, Madison?
In Madison sometimes.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. I'll have to check out your schedule then.
Yeah. So we'll have, you can always Google us. We're on Facebook. I have my own Instagram, Good Night John Boie. For those of you that know the Waltons, you might get that reference.
There's no underscores, right?
No underscores.
Just Good Night John.
Good Night John Boie.
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 We'll link
We'll
it.
post it. Yeah, we'll link it.
Yeah. So I got tryouts coming up here in a couple weeks. I also got my club season is going to start here in October. It's also hunting season, as you
Yeah.
know.
Busy,
so
busy.
a lot of fun things coming up for me and for all my teammates as well.
Well, we're very excited to watch you
Yeah.
Yeah.
in our watch party with our flags.
I'm easy to spot. I'm the smallest one out there. So
All right. Do you have a number or like every season does it change?
33.
You're always
Always?
33?
Mhm.
So watch out for 33.
Wait, and you're going to be 33 next year, aren't you?
Yes, I am. I did not think of that.
Very-
Ooh,
Next
that's
year,
your
my-
golden
That
year.
is the
Oh.
golden year, basketball golden year. Oh,
That's
man.
exciting.
Yeah, that's great.
Thank you guys so much for watching this week's episode or listening. You guys can find us at Screw It, Let's Do This. That's it.
That's it.
On Instagram.
Or on YouTube, which is the best place to watch. Also, listen up for the YouTubers right now. Even if you're not on YouTube, go on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel once we get to 1,000 subscribers.
We have a little surprise. So
A little surprisey surprise.
where can they find you?
You can find me at Tricky Foods on Instagram and Shelby.
You can find me at Mickey's Bakes on Instagram. All right.
Cool. See you all next week.
Bye.
Bye.